How many of you guys sitting here stress? Okay. Well, do you guys think that stress is a good thing or a bad thing?
Stress is bad.
Bad? Okay. Well, actually, stress can be a good thing too. It's also a bad thing, but I'll tell you why it's a good thing. Whenever you're stressing, you have a burst of energy that comes through your body, which pumps the adrenaline. Usually when that happens, that's whenever you're able to complete any task at hand, and it also improves your memory. For example, you have an assignment due at the end of the week. Instead of waiting till the very last day to do it, you would want to plan it accordingly. So you break down that assignment, split it up by day, so that when it's due, you're not cramming at the last minute to get it done. That's stress used properly or efficiently. A bad way that stress can affect you is it can affect your study habits, and it can also affect your health. Same example, but let's just say this individual does wait till the last minute to do it. So he or she has an hour to do that assignment. Their adrenaline's going to be pumping like crazy. They're going to be really, really stressed out, and that can be really detrimental for their health. So for my speech, I'll be talking about how to cope with stress, ways stress can affect your health, through a story in ways that didn't help me whenever I was dealing with stress. I want to enlighten you guys on ways to benefit from dealing with stress. The 5 methods I'm going to talk to you about are things that I've been doing since I was in high school. It's been more of a trial and error, but I believe I've perfected it, so I'll explain that to you guys. As many of you guys know, or some of you may not know, I've been in nursing school for at least a year now. And the things that the school requires you to do is very stressful. You'll have tests every other week, you'll have projects on top of that, and then you'll have assignments to do on top of it. So a lot of times, especially this last semester, I had tests back to back. I remember when I first started class, I had a test at the very end of the week. So for me, whenever I was prepping for that one particular test, rather than studying for it, I just became so fixated on how should I do this, what kind of grade am I going to get, how is it going to affect my grade if I don't do well on this test. So all those times that I could have spent studying, I was worrying. And so as a result of that, I stressed more than I ate. So typically, normally you guys would eat at least 3 meals a day. I would eat at least 1 or 2, if I'm lucky. So some of the ways that I dealt with the stress, is crying about it. I cried a lot, and I would eat very unhealthy. And so due to that, I didn't do well on that test. And at the end of the semester, I ended up losing at least 5 to 10 pounds, maybe plus or 2 pounds more than that. Now that's one end of how stress can affect your health, but there's a more extreme end of how stress can affect your health. For example, you can have serious heart problems, such as an irregularity of your heartbeat, and it can get so serious to where you can even have a heart attack. You can also have anxiety as a result, and a lack of motivation. Whenever you're stressed, you use that energy to become fixated on whatever you're thinking about, that you don't have the motivation to finish up that assignment. And what can end up happening is when you submit it, you'll miss some things that you were supposed to do and could end up getting a lower grade than you were expecting. So some steps that you can take with dealing with stress that helped me was with music. So one of the CDs I bought is a Justin Bieber CD. I actually got it as a Christmas gift from my cousins. And so I bought the CD just because, whenever I listen to music, it really helps me to relax. This is just one music that I use. And so whenever I feel stressed and I don't know how else to deal with it, music tends to help me relax and not have to think about the problem at hand. Another thing I like to do is exercising. So the thing with exercising is that it improves your circulation and it helps release some endorphins in your system. So when that happens, it actually helps lower your stress versus increasing it or making you feel a lot more tense or whatever. So 2 of the exercises I'm going to show you is called a bicep curl. Some of you guys may not know how to do it. But what I do is every week, at least for 30 minutes, I do at least 50 for each arm. So you can have one dumbbell, this is at least 5 pounds, but you can get ones that are way more than this. So what I typically do is at least do 50 of these for one arm and then do another for this arm. And so I just do this, and this really helps me lower my tension. Another thing I do, it's called a lateral raise, and same thing with the dumbbell. Instead of taking 1, you can have 2. And you just stand at your side, and you just bring it up, and you bring it back down, and you can do it sitting down or standing up. The reason I do these 2 is just that it helps me to also just focus on the exercise at hand, and I don't feel as stressed anymore. Another thing you could do is for girls, if you like to get your nails done, is to get a manicure or pedicure. For guys though, you guys can do the same thing, or you guys can get a massage. Whenever you get a massage, it usually helps to relieve the tension in your body, because whenever you stress, you have a lot of knots in your body and a lot of tension. So getting a massage usually helps to relieve all that. The last two things that I like to do is to bake. I like to be in the kitchen, and that's something that is a favorite hobby of mine, so cooking really helps with the stress. And the last thing, and it may seem a little strange, but I like to clean. So usually when I stress, I'll clean my room, I'll clean the bathroom, I'll dust, I do all sorts of things, and at the end of the day, the whole place will be clean. But even though it may sound a little strange, that really does help relieve a lot of the tension I may have. So from this speech, I just want you guys to understand that stress can affect your health. It can affect it very negatively if you stress and use it in the wrong way. But I'm hoping that with the methods I've told you about, that you guys can work with dealing with your stress. And a few words of thought: always be positive, think positive, and be confident. I hope you enjoyed my speech.